Hello there, folks, and welcome to the stream. My name is Mike D'Angelo, aka That Tellest Guy, and I am joined today by my lovely co-host, Rihanna.
Hello.
And I've been brutally maimed.
Poor little Luna Tooth.
Poor little Michael.
Poor little Michael.
I was wrestling with the dog, and it wasn't a bite. Her tooth went in between my thumb and the nail and bent it back. It stings.
Yeah, he was over the sink rinsing it going, ooh, it stings.
Oh, it stings.
Poor baby.
Good times. So we've done a convention chat in the past for Talking Tellest, but we did it for PhilCon and maybe even prior to PhilCon or after PhilCon. I can't remember the context to it, but
I think it was about past conventions that we've gone to and advice for people trying to get to conventions.
Yep. So this is going to be the Mac Daddy of all returns because we haven't been to Fan Expo, formerly known as Wizard World, since before the pandemic.
Right.
We tried to go last year. They would not give us a table, and they wouldn't tell us that we didn't get a table until after it was
booked.
Too late to be, nice. So we were holding out hope until the last moments. But the nice thing is this year we have 2 tables. Same setup that we had with PhilCon. The difference is the volume of people that we're going to expect.
Yeah. Was it 60,000 plus or something that we're looking at?
I'm thinking at least 50,000 based on what we've seen before. A lot of tickets have already sold out. So, I mean, we know it's going to be pretty big numbers versus a modest 800 or so at PhilCon. So this is a huge jump up.
Right.
40 times the amount of people. Right. We sold 10 wands. I'd be okay with selling 40 wands.
That'd be good.
Yep. So what we're going to talk about today is not so much our experience from past conventions, although we might intersperse that in there. And we didn't have the PhilCon picture that you see on the screen that we were able to show off until now because we did the last one prior to the PhilCon picture being taken. So here you can see Rihanna's awesome wand setup and everything like that. So I think most of what we're going to be talking about is what you can expect from us there and what we're hoping to achieve while we're there.
And some of the prep work that goes into that we're trying to prepare for. But I told him the only reason I would agree to this is if it was conversational and chit chatty. I don't have the mental capacity to talk seriously today. I just want.
It's been a busy week.
It's been a busy week. I don't know if we formally said this on other ones, but so I've since that convention I was laid off, then got a new job. The new job is so far awesome but overwhelming with a lot of information.
It's a lot. You're doing 3 people's jobs just about.
Pretty much. And it's one of those things where I've got a lot of wands downstairs that are half done and I'm trying to get them finished before the convention. So
versus me, my big problem right now is it stings.
It stings.
So Rihanna, let's talk about, since we have your picture up on the screen right now and we've got your table, what are you kind of anticipating as being the setup, and what are you kind of hoping to see happen next week?
So for me, I'm very interested in seeing the reactions to my stuff at a larger scale, because I think that there was at the other convention that we went to, the PhilCon, the slightly smaller one, I got a lot of appreciation, which was great, but I also need money. But I do want to have more volume of a reaction so that I can get kind of more of a gauge of what people are looking for in the wands, what people are drawn to, what people like and dislike. And I will tell you that the wands that I sold, they were not ones that I expected to sell. They were the kind of quirkier ones, and I loved that. I loved that the quirky ones are selling.
We don't have too many quirky ones on the screen right now because I was just going based off of what had dates in the pictures that I pulled from and everything. But you've had fandom wands, and the banana wand that sold, the cow abduction. Did we have the hat, the bunny ears hat at PhilCon?
Yeah, that was there, but it didn't sell.
I'm surprised that didn't sell, considering that is another quirky one.
Right, like a magician wand kind of thing.
No, now a bunch of these have sold. The ones that you have on the screen right now, we've I think we still
most of them have sold.
Yeah, we've moved the Medusa, the Crackle Quartz is still available.
Yeah.
And I think the Amethyst is still available.
Amethyst.
Amethyst is how I pronounce it.
No, it's not.
It stings.
It's not a sapphire.
It stings. It's a rubby. I think the serpent one sold.
Ursula sold.
Ursula sold. The unicorn one sold. Shrouded, that one went to my uncle.
Sold, yeah.
The D20 one.
Sold real quick.
Yep. You know what? One of the reasons that I chose a lot of these things is because they sold, I think.
Right.
Because if they sold and we're able to show these off on the iPad, it'll be a nice way to say, like, hey, we've got these things that, you know, right at the top, contact us for commissions.
Right.
We can say, if this is the kind of one that you want, we can make another one for you. They're one of a kind, but they are, we do take artistic liberties to make similar ones.
Right, and I've done that before. Like I've customized an idea, and I mean one of the things is that these wands, like, no two will ever be alike because I use the crystals. Like,
right, yeah.
And the crystals are unique. Like, you can have two, spherical crystals selling, but they're not going to be the same, like, exact look.
Two amethysts.
This. The funny thing is, one day you're going to be like, haha, it is pronounced amethyst. But no, I don't believe so.
So, again, you have this expectation of wanting to see how people will react.
Yeah.
What's your setup going to be? Is it going to be pretty much as positioned in this picture?
Pretty much same as. The only thing that I want to have for this, I'm glad we pulled this up because it reminded me. I want to have the pricing a little bit more formalized, because that was like a little bit of a last minute thing. Like when we went there, I think I drew it up basically. I had them tagged, but I didn't have them written out with the prices, like, for people to look at.
So in theory, we could have a poster that we put together at home real quick with the little dots and the pricing on. So this is what we're planning on doing. Luna, do you have a hunger for blood? Is that what's going on? Come here. Come here.
Come here, join us.
So, the last time we went, back in 2020, we had 4 posters. You know, like the posters that we were trying to show off was, at the direction of some of the other people that we've met. And they were saying, oh, you should definitely sell art, because you've got a lot of good art. And we had the art book, but we had 4 posters.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty posters and everything like that, but, like, nothing to really draw people in.
Yeah.
So what we're planning on doing this year is we've got a
giant felt backdrop.
Yeah, so we're going to try and do like a 5-foot by 7-foot backdrop that we're going to Velcro our posters onto. I think we can maybe do like 20 posters. And I'm hoping that draws people in for people who might not be looking at like the tables.
Right.
They might say, all right, like there's stuff going on here.
Yeah.
So we'll get a couple people on the hook that way, and then once we have them on the hook, we either have them buy posters or
wands, books,
better yet, I would rather them go, oh, there's
right.
this person here's got some pretty awesome stuff. Not to short sell anything else, but the wands
right.
are the big ticket items.
Another thing that we have available is the children's book, which we did not have last time, and I really hope, like, we have plenty of copies. We're gonna sign them, like, no additional charge, and it'll be a nice, like, it's a very palatable price in person to be able to, like, hopefully sell a lot of them.
Right. So we didn't have the children's book. We didn't have wands 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We had 4 posters.
Right.
We did not have a nonfiction book.
Right.
We didn't have a novelization of Quantum Quest.
Yeah. I think the nonfiction will go well. It's the like the writers.
Yeah, the 100
prompts.
fantasy writing prompts. Yeah. So that'll be fun. There was 1 or 2 other things. Oh, we didn't have battle maps.
Didn't have
battle maps is going to be.
Maps.
Did you say battle maps?
Yes.
I wasn't paying attention to you.
Of course you don't.
Stings.
Yes, it stings so much.
So we did not have the battle maps. Obviously, if you're hanging out on this.
Before you move on, I just want to say, so the little banner that you see over, like, in the side there, the Tellest banner thing, I want one of them for Weird Witch Wand. So my goal is to have enough money after this to be able to get that commission so that we can have.
No, you have to draw it up. You have to.
I already drew it up.
Well, draw it up more.
I'm gonna draw it up more.
To the moon.
I'm gonna take you and whose blunt thumb bloody.
I have
thing.
1 good thumb left. Let's see. We'll go through these QR codes until we can find. So obviously we only have 2 tables. Same situation as we had at PhilCon. At PhilCon, I definitely wanted the focus to be on you. Like, it was your first convention.
I appreciated that.
But I'm stealing as much spotlight as I can.
We're in competition.
But honestly,
100%.
not really, because I offered to give up some space to one of my my Fiverr backers who constantly comes to me and everything. And she sent me a ton of stuff that's going to take up some real estate. So I'm hoping to move that stuff fast. We have, we don't have a sponsor section, but I'll kind of sponsor for them real quick. So there's a writers contest called the Writers of the Future. They are doing their 40th issue, I think, on May 7th or so. The book's not out yet. I got my copy early because I've been helping them so much. And tonight they're actually going to announce the winners at 8 p.m. Pacific on, my phone. Give me 1 second. I'll rattle it off.
Meanwhile, I'm supposed to
so
fill the space whilst he's doing stuff, because I was told that that's what a good co-host in podcasting does.
Jumped right in there. I'm so proud of you. So I'm writing this on the screen right now. So it's www.writersofthefuture.com. So it's there in the chat right now. Again, I'm sorry, it's 7 p.m. Pacific Standard. And they will announce the winners. I already know the winners. That's how cool I am.
So secretive.
Mm-hmm. I think that there's a cash prize. It's fantasy and sci-fi predominantly, I think only. And we've promoted a couple of those copies of the books. It's named after L. Ron Hubbard, but it doesn't have anything to do with like Scientology or anything. So
yeah, we need to make a disclaimer, because we're not Scientologists.
We're not theists at all, for the most part.
Seriously.
So
The only thing, I was saying this earlier, the only thing I believe is no one knows a damn thing.
No.
That's the only belief I think is fully valid.
But I will recognize that he is the like granddaddy of like pulp sci-fi and stuff like that. So we've frequently done stuff for Battlefield Earth. The book, not the silly movie. No offense, John Travolta, if you're listening right now. But yeah, so we'll be doing things on my table with as little room as we have, and I'm hoping that we do well enough where we can immediately on Sunday at the show say, hey, we want 3 tables next year.
That'd be really nice. Yeah, because I think we have more than enough real estate to take up that space.
Yeah.
And I also think that something that might help us is, we've said in multiple ones of these that just having books is sometimes a really hard sell, because it's not like, you don't know the content that you're paying for, but things that are more visual, like wands, like the posters, like the battle maps, you're seeing exactly what you're getting. So I think that that's like hopefully a little bit easier of a sell for people who are interested in it.
Yep. And we are going to have, I think, like 5 battle maps, but we'll also have these images here because we don't currently have a way for people to get 50 of our battle maps in physical form.
Right.
We're working on things like that. Like if you go to our Etsy store, you can find, I think we're up to 27 physical battle maps. And I'm trying to, between now and Thursday of next week, get more of that wrapped up. We have a D&D session to worry about on Saturday. We've got to prep all the other stuff.
All the other stuff. I have like 20 wands to finish. Do you have the mouse pads, right?
Yeah, so we got the 2 mouse pads right there.
Okay.
Or it's 1, and then I'm going to bring a couple of the ones that I have at work, and then any of the other ones that we have. This one's one of my test ones, and you can see like the white border was because I didn't realize that there was like a fill option.
I stole another one for work for my laptop.
Yep. So we'll do a couple of them. The jumbo ones are the ones that I like showing off the most because they're so impressive.
They are really cool, and I've been spoiled now. I have to have like a gamer mouse pad instead of the tiny little things.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's just so much easier.
So we've got that. We've got obviously that's the battle maps and regular mouse pads that show off our art. We've got 20 books, not including the children's book.
Right.
That's the problem. I write and I write and I write.
And we have the finished trilogy, which is new. Like we haven't presented that, and historically Mageborn has been pretty popular.
Mageborn's been pretty popular, and I think people like the Tales of Tellest books too.
Right.
And prior to Tales of Tellest, and I don't think we had volume 2 at that point either. So we've got 2 anthologies. Your stories are in both of them, and I know that you like to go, my stories.
I wrote it.
And people get so excited because you usually have resting I don't care face, but you light up.
Nice PG way of saying that. I do. I get very excited when someone's interested in something that, like, I wrote, because I've done, like, I mean, I was an English major, like, I've written a lot of papers, but I haven't really done too much of, like, the creative writing stuff.
And you'll be able to tell people that you've got Whispers of the Weirdwood
coming out.
Yeah. So next year we should have that ready.
That'll be really cool.
We'll be able to talk about the Whispers, because between the convention last time and the pandemic, we wrote the 9 chapters, but nobody was around to be able to talk to that wasn't online. I was thinking, as we were talking about, like, you light up when you talk about the stories that you write and everything. There's a flip side to that too, because you also have a very hard time accepting praise.
It's true. So I'll get really excited about, like, the same thing happens with the wands too. Like, I'll get so excited to present something to someone who's really interested in it, and then if they give me, like, a compliment as they walk away, I literally want to hide under the table. Like, I don't know what it is. And I think the problem is, like, as an artist, like, you get into, like, the zone kind of when you do artsy things, and it's a little bit of a disconnect between that version and the version that has to, like, sell and be, like, very, like, clinical and like full of reason, and then when you have that, like, emotional stuff come up, it's just it's too much sometimes, and I just, like,
13 years of trying to sell, and I'm still not good at that. I'm, like, maybe a little better than I started at the other stuff.
Right. I mean, it's a little bit sales tactic-y, but, like, we're trying to just give people, like, the best summary when it's the right fit. We're not trying to, like, peddle things to people who don't want to buy them. But I think because we're both kind of awkward and nerdy and, like, have a lot of, like, self-questioning when it comes to, like, our projects, it's a little bit harder to boast. And I know that, like...
But I feel like this year is a great time to boast, because we had a very exciting, very impactful 2020 show, because we ended up spreading to 2 other tables when the people didn't show up. I don't think that we're going to get that lucky here, where we're going to be able to do that and kind of creep out. But...
Creepy.
But we have so much to talk about. Like, Tellest has grown into such a vast thing. The fact that Weird Witch Wands is kind of like an imprint of that, and that we collaborate, and that, like, you're going to have a story about the origins of the wands linked into the Tellest universe and everything. And we have all these other, like, products that we now have. Because we didn't have things like the tabletop projects. You know, like, it's growing into a lot of, like, cool ways. And I think I was talking in the newsletter today about how one of the things that I'm really excited about is not necessarily, like, us being able to reach the new people, but the people that we only saw at the convention, and, like, we would recognize their faces, like, every year. I'm excited to see them, see how they're doing, and I'm excited for them to see that we just weren't sitting on our hands for 4 years.
Yeah, we've never not worked, like, the 2 of us. Even when I was recently laid off, like, I was doing stuff. Most of that stuff was, like, schwitzing about, like, what the future's gonna be, but I was still working on projects.
Or is it kivitzing? I don't know.
Schwitzing is, like, you're like, verklempt. But anyway, but I am excited, like, so I think that we have to also recognize that, like, this was... I don't want to say this necessarily how it is, but, like, it is what it is. When we started this kind of stuff, we were, like, enthusiastic youngins, and now we're just cute old people who want to continue to do projects.
Cute old witch and wizard.
A cute old witch and wizard. We're a little married couple who likes to have brain babies and put, like, you know, we like fantasy. We want to share that with people who are like-minded. So I hope that's, like... I don't want to say a selling point, but I hope that's something that draws people into, like, even if they don't have the cash to buy stuff, like, be interested in what we're doing. Share our content. Like,
and we have tons of free stuff that people can enjoy as well, because we have Mageborn. We have...
The newsletters are very, like...
The newsletters are informative, and you can actually, like, enter, like, the contests every month to get free stuff anyway.
If you want to meet us, it's a nice way to.
It's a nice way to say hi, and we do the panels. You know, like I do like the pop culture stuff. Like this year is going to be 40 years of Ghostbusters and 40 years of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So that's really fun. And some of the other free stuff, if you go to our Patreon and just be a free viewer, you get like the low res version of the maps every week, and you get the sketches of the art pieces. Like there's a lot of free stuff that we offer up. So it is
more engagement is more like, even if it's not your thing, it could be someone else's that you know. Direct them to the free stuff. Like it's a corporate America is broken. Let's just make our passions our way of living here.
So I will say this: we were talking about like all the free stuff and everything, but one of the things that we're really trying to do is bring some funding to the project that you see up on the screen right now. So obviously, it's been 4 years since we've been at a convention, and in that entire time, Quantum Quest Reinforcements has been done, and it was just I didn't want to kickstart a project for tabletop when people couldn't really safely play.
Right. It seems a little.
Yeah, and then last year was when we were planning on doing it, and I wanted to plan it out for when we were at the con, but we didn't get the table.
Right.
So like we played with people at the convention, but really didn't get a chance to have it going. So the plan is on Friday of next week to launch this project. It's been sitting in my drafts for forever. Right. I'm still waiting on a couple of things from Paul Davies, who's one of our art designers. But I think what I'm going to have to do in the meantime, because I think I have to I have to have it verified.
Right.
Tomorrow I'm going to put together like some of the headers and everything, just so that they're done. Yeah. I was going to make it almost identical to the original one, and I decided to just streamline it and make it much more like simple. It's been simplified. Yeah. You can only either get the game or the game and the original game. So I don't want people to be confused or anything like that. And then,
did you put this together?
So this image was put together by Francois, and then I just brought it into the template so that we could have the QR code. Yeah. Why?
He did a good job.
He did a good job.
I thought it was going to be you. I don't want to say good job.
But it's not. So.
But it's not. So whatever.
So we do have a digital version of our brochure, but enough of it's changed that we have to kind of tweak that before we bring it back next year.
Yeah, and I would like to be able to do it in a way where it's like a little bit more like the links are clickable. Like if we can figure out how to do that, which I think we can.
Right.
But it's just like we don't have time to do it in the next week.
No. One of the big reasons that we had to change that we have to change the brochure is the name of our TikTok for the doggies has changed.
Yeah. It was Full House of Fluff, and it seemed wrong to call it a full house after we lost our kitty last year.
Even now, almost a year later, it feels a little bit empty, even with this whiny took us in the background and everything.
There's so we'll tell this cute little story. So on our over the winter we have like a Wizards and Winter party, and I got those little floating candles that have like the wand attached where
the Harry Potter-esque.
Yeah, the Harry Potter-esque like floating electric candles, and those things are sticky and they are stuck to our ceiling. Like they ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, we haven't had any fall or anything like that.
So we're gonna keep that there because I have a feeling when we remove them we're gonna have to repaint the entire ceiling. But anyway, recently, like, it's not as if the batteries are dying. It's not as if, like, we're touching anything. Just certain candles, particularly around Peanut's picture that we have hanging up on the wall, keep lighting up, like, and it's a slow flicker on, and then it'll, like, fade out, like...
And it's the same ones multiple times. So, like, it's not like, hey, it's the last gasp of the batteries or anything like that.
And it's always around her picture, and I just think that's, like, really... Like, I don't know. There's probably a scientific explanation, but we choose to believe
we're witchy people.
Yeah,
so we believe in superstitions and kind of cute metaphysical ideas and stuff like that.
It's been a long like she's I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, we have Tales of Tellest now, like the tale of a doggy, and I figured that was a nicer way of, like, I mean, our one little, I'm petting her right now, Zelda's getting old, and I just don't want to have a full house of anything if it doesn't feel like it is. So, but Tales of Tellest, there can be many
Tales of Tellest is timeless.
Tales of Tellest is timeless, and we can have many, like, I love the idea of giving animals a home, and I know that there's going to be certain situations where like saying goodbye is going to hurt like a mofo, but like other like doggies in the world need love, and we want to always be able to provide that.
No.
Because they're adorable. Look at those faces.
Look at those faces.
Look at them little putums.
Look at them feet. So we've got 4 of the things up right now. I think that we showed all those pictures. So we had the battle maps, the Weird Witch wands. We've got a couple of other ones. Let me bring up my image over here. We're also going to be doing stuff about the newsletter because, again, we have the free things that we were talking about there. The Whispers is available to newsletter subscribers for free, and you get a vote based on how many times your voting power changes based on how many times you voted over the past few chapters. So, like, if you start in chapter 10 and you vote every month, by the time you get to chapter 13, your vote is worth 4 votes. And then additionally, if you're on the Tellest Patreon, you get additional voting power based on how much you spend, because it is pay to win. So,
I see.
Oh no, what do I have? Is that dried blood? Huzzah.
Oh, that's terrible.
It stings.
It stings.
Obviously, we've got the Amazon books. We're not going to be able to fit 20 books on the table.
Damn.
On top of the Writers of the Future stuff.
Yeah.
The just everything else we have. We had my one cousin has been. Well, all my cousins have been awesome when it comes to supporting this kind of stuff. But my one cousin was like sending me links for like, here's how to do a Kickstarter.
That's cute.
She thought it was our first time doing the Kickstarter, and she was like, hey, like we had previously talked about when you guys were going to go to the Renaissance Fair, you guys were talking about maybe selling one of my clients like gothic clothing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like on board with that. I don't know that I would be a good salesperson with that.
Right. And I think it was more like for us at the time in particularly it was just more of like a branding thing, because we do have a lot of different items, but we're not like a clothing people.
Right. I mean, I would do it there because we'd have the room.
Yeah, like a 10 by 10
perchance
is a little bit different.
You can't just say perchance.
You can't just say perchance.
But she had requested like, hey, like, would you be willing to sell them at this event? Like, we have 2 6-foot tables. Mm-hmm. Everything is spoken for.
Right.
Like, I could put a flyer up if you wanted to say like, hey, we're affiliated with this company.
Right.
I'm all for that. To put some things into perspective, for folks who used to watch the WWE back in the day, there was a ring announcer, Lillian Garcia, and my cousin used to design her clothing. So she's definitely got ins with a lot of like fashion forward people. So I would love to be able to do that kind of thing, but not with 12 feet of table.
And we also don't have like, so we're, he's going to be on some panels during Comic-Con, and thankfully, like, we have your brother and a couple of friends, like, on the, like able to help. But having been there, when you have a high volume time, like when there's just a lot of foot traffic and a lot of people interested in what you're doing, and 12 feet of real estate to have to try and navigate with multiple people, that is like in the busy times, it is nearly impossible for one person to manage.
Yep.
So if we were to do events like that, we'd have to have another person with us.
It would be a situation where like, hey, I'm all for you like doing something,
right,
but you'd pretty much have to run the table. Right. Like you'd be there to be watching our tables when we have to go to the bathroom, go get a bite to eat, stuff like that. But there's no way that I can run 40 different kinds of things.
Yeah, it's not possible. So it's one of those kind of situations.
I didn't come out here to say like, hey, like all that stuff. I just came out here to say like it's cute that like the idea was that
I would love. So we saw a I'm not going to name names because I haven't really spoken to these people yet, but there's like a nerdy shop in like around where they have the Renaissance Fair, and it's like just an eclectic shop that sells like witchy nerdy things. I would love for that to be our future one day. Like, I would love to be able to have connections with like awesome people sell their stuff, like, get things out in the world.
We've talked about it. Like, I'd like to be able to say, like, hey, we have a shop at, like, Peddler's Village that sells your wands and all of our stuff and everything like that. But there's no way that you could do it with our day job and then, like, that be our night. Like,
not at all. It would have to be, like, we'd have to win the lottery at that point, like, to be able to fund something like that. But, dreams die in America. Woo! It's okay. We're happy. We got each other. We got our puppies. We got our projects.
You know what we didn't have going on 4 years ago?
What?
Twitch.
We didn't have Twitch. Yep, we got the Twitch channel. We got the TikToks. We didn't have those.
Yep, we're at 45 followers, so it's been a slow uphill climb. But I mean, that's what happens when you stream for half an hour at a time.
Yeah, and we're chit chatting. That's all. That's nice.
Yep, showing off maps and stuff like that. So it'll be fun to see how people react to those kind of things. We briefly mentioned the Tellest Patreon. We've got that. We've got the newsletter sign up. We've got. What else do we have? The Etsy store. Right. The Weird Witch Wands is on that and everything, but we've got all the other stuff that we sell on the Etsy store. So the stickers, the bookmarks, the Quantum Quest games that you can get directly from us, that kind of thing. I'm also going to be developing a battle map survey so that people can tell us, like, hey, it's nice that you have 90 maps, but you don't have any of this kind. So,
yeah, it would be a nice way to, like, I mean, I don't know that you would maybe you'd open yourself up to commission maps eventually, but
I did have at one point. Well, and technically, I think I'm on Fiverr as purchasable.
Yeah. Okay.
I can be bought.
I can be bought too. We all have our price.
That's another thing. So it's not. I don't have any of the products to sell or anything like that. But I've been working with Dragon's Horn Studios. To do editing and more recently more like mechanical and storytelling beats for their D&D and other tabletop adventures. So it'll be very cool to be able to say that I'm doing that, and hopefully we can use that experience to develop our own adventures like that, because that would be kind of the goal.
Exactly. And I'm excited to one of, like, our wish list items that we've talked about all the time is like we have so much property, like so much real estate when it comes to, like, digital assets, that one of the inevitable pieces of this has to be, like, a role-playing book in the Tellest world.
You mean like either our own version of D&D or Pathfinder, or like a story, a campaign setting,
right? Yeah. So I mean, either or at this point. Like, I think it makes more sense to fit it into something that already exists.
Yeah. I think we would start with a campaign setting that you could use in another system. Yeah. And I would think that even if Pathfinder is basically D&D with a little bit of a different flavor. Like, there's no reason that using like the SRD or whatever it is that you can't reframe Tellest to be the same thing.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like licensing things and stuff, like, but we haven't gotten to that point. But I mean, like, the battle maps, the characters, the settings, they all exist already. We have the lore. We have, like, the mechanics are there already. We just have to organize them, and I'm really excited to see that in the future. I would also like since we have the wands back up on the screen, I have 2 hopes for this going well this year to be able to contribute next year. I would love to make wand holsters so that people can wear these around, and I would love to have like wand stands available. That's a little tricky because, I mean, it's cheaper to buy something off of Amazon at this point that kind of serves as one than to, like, 3D print one for 4 hours or something like that. But
and the other thing that you want is, if we do well,
me, by the way, internet, do you hear this?
if we do well, you've been talking about doing a turning lathe to help you with some of the mechanical components of making these wands,
because these are very time consuming. I don't have any like big machinery like that. I'm just using like a Dremel and like sanders and stuff.
And you did a little bit of wood burning stuff.
And I've done wood burning, but like, here's the thing, I think we've said it before, I am accident prone as all get out, and I am terrified of having my hair caught in a turning lathe, or like
Your thumb caught on
My
a dog
thumb
nail.
caught on a dog nail.
Or
I absolutely, like, I want to graduate to, like, giant staffs and like witches brooms and stuff. I would love to have like a whole thing like that, but I don't want to operate a saw because I'll lose a hand and there goes my hobby. Like, it's going to be gone.
Knowing you wouldn't lose a hand, you'd lose a foot.
Somehow.
Like, how?
It's true. I just don't understand.
Well,
so
we're at 5 of the hour.
Right.
Let's
trying to wrap this up, aren't you?
Yeah. So I was going to ask you if you had anything else that you wanted to contribute for once.
For once? I'm talking. I love you all. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Nothing, apparently.
You put me on the spot.
I like how you were already on the spot.
I want to also be able to have the purchasing power to buy giant crystals and sell them too. Like, just to be able to do that would be awesome. Like, buy some wholesale stuff. One of the things that we have coming up that, like, I'm just attending, we're not going to be vendors or anything, but there's a potential to vend at a crystal convention. Mm-hmm. So I would really like to, see how that fits.
My dream is for you to run out of wand inventory and be like, well, now what?
Hey, that'd be awesome. I'd be all about it, because that means that we can pay off some credit cards. Mm-hmm. Yay!
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see what you do in a situation where we don't have wands in the house anymore. You'd be like, it feels so empty.
I will cry. My baby. Like, they're my babies. I've always said my pricing is based on how sad I'm going to be to see it leave. Mm-hmm. And it's a little bit easier for commissioned pieces because I make it with the intention that it's not going to be mine anyway.
Yeah.
But, like...
But the other ones you birth from your loins.
I birth from my mental loins, and it's just going to be a whole thing. But I'm excited anyway.
Well, let's go over to the show closing page.
I'm not going to do the customary chocolate milk.
Because we already chocolate milk. So, folks, on the screen right now, you should see a bunch of places that you can find Tellest out there on the internet. That's my man boob. Tellest.com is the best place to start because it'll lead you to a lot of the other projects that we work on. But we've got a couple of premium websites that you can go to. Patreon.com/Tellest will bring you to the digital premium stuff. That's our battle maps, our point of interest documents. We actually have our first ever battle map that was designed by a guest designer that's going up next Friday. Possibly 2 different designers' work going up next Friday, since it will be convention day. And we also do art posts on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you want to see physical premium goods, you can go to tellest.etsy.com. That's where you can get the jumbo mouse pads, the battle maps, the stickers, bookmarks, the tabletop game, all that good stuff, the art book. And then you can also find Rihanna's Weird Witch Wands there, but you can see the videos of the finished products on tiktok.com/@weirdwitchwands. And if you're on TikTok anyway, you might as well go to tiktok.com/@talesofTellest to see our puppies making fools of themselves and making lots of noise like only Luna can. And then the last 2 places that I will bring your attention to are youtube.com/@worldoftellest, where you can find these videos on nice little playlists after Twitch knocks us off the platform after the 21 days or whatever. But if you do want to see us live and chat with us, twitch.tv/thattellestguy is currently the only place that you can do that. So do make sure that you drop by, usually on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays around 7 p.m. Eastern to say hi. And with that, we are going to wrap things up. But we miss you.